Do you like Synchro monsters, and do you like the Invoke engine? I have the perfect deck solution for you. Welcome to my Invoke Synchro deck profile. Really solid deck for the current format, is able to go first, has some decent options as well. So let's get straight into the deck profile, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you liked the video, let me know why in the comment section down below, and if you didn't, let me know as well. So let's start off with the main deck. We're playing 3 copies of Alistair the Invoker. He lets you search out the invocation from your deck to your hand, and congrats, you have some fusion plays going on. Really strong, and a really, honestly, great engine in this format. 3 copies of Jet Synchron. So this card should have been banned. It's stupidly strong, and it's basically a free link 2, which is going to be your Needle Fiber most of the time, or Hollyfabrax. And well, that's just nuts. So what you do is you link him into an Almirage or a Linkaribo, discard a card, revive him back from the graveyard, and your plays continue. He gets banished, but that's perfectly fine. So that's the whole purpose of Jet Synchron on that end. Playing 3 copies of Paralleled Exceed. So the whole purpose is to make a rank 4 right off the bat, but he can also help you in case you have a bricky hand. So you're able to go into Jet Synchron plays with Parallel and, you know, do some other shenanigans. So again, really good. Hopefully you don't see 2 of them in your hand, but if you do, well, you have discard fodder for Jet Synchron, or maybe something else later on. So we're also playing 1 copy of Arborea. So the reason I'm playing her is because, you know, Almirage or essentially Linkaribo or anything with an arrow that's a link 1, you're able to special summon her for free, and she's a tuner. So you got some decent options in case you don't have a Jet Synchron, and you're able to still make a full board. We're essentially playing 2 copies of her because we are playing Rhoda in the deck, so it's kind of that. She's also really strong, and yeah, just a free special summon. We're playing 1 copy of Mecha Phantom Beast Olion, just for the whole, you know, make a token play. That's kind of the whole purpose of him. Really solid though. Gonna be what you're summoning off of Hollyfabrax 9 actions at the time if you don't draw him. Playing 1 copy of Destruction Buster Sword. Whole purpose is that we want to make sure my opponent can go into the extra deck, and a lot of decks don't run back row hate or a way to get rid of back row, so this is going to be your prime target for those types of decks. Playing 2 copies of Ash Blossom for the hand traps. Still a really strong hand trap option. I'm not going to be playing 3 of her, despite her being a tuner, and that's all great. I just want to make sure I see other cards in my hand, and hopefully just see 1 of her. We're also playing 2 copies of Ghost Ogre. So Ghost Ogre is actually really solid in this deck because we are playing Emergency Teleport. So in the worst case scenario, you're able to get 1 out on the field and continue your plays because she's a tuner. Or you can more or less just use her from your hand and stop your opponent from playing. It's really strong, and I still think to this day it's the most underutilized or underrated, or just not taking that seriously as a card. And it's just fantastic. Like, I see some decks starting to incorporate it. I just wish that more people understand how great Ghost Ogre is this format. For the spells, we're playing 1 copy of Terraforming. Nothing to really explain. Adds a field card. 3 copies of Meltdown. Whole purpose is to add Alistair to your hand, so you're essentially playing 6 copies. Well, 7 if you count the Terraforming. And on top of that, if you're fusion summoning, your opponent cannot negate the activation of the cards, but they can still negate the effects or negate things around it. Like if they want to call by the grave of the Alistair, they can, or DD Crowed or whatever. So they are allowed to do that. But still, just adds Alistair. We're only playing 2 copies of Invocation. I decided not to play 3. The reason why is because this isn't as heavy as an Invoke lineup as my Mech Knight build or my Shadal build. So you're not really needing the fusion part of the deck, but you want to still see it. You still want to go ahead and make the plays. So I'm playing 2. I would not cut this down to 1, and I think 3 is too many, unless you want to change up the extra deck a little bit. So that's kind of up to you. Again, take this video as a little guide or a little template, and then you can expand and build on it. You might find something better than what I can think of. So, following that, we're playing 3 copies of Tuning. We want to make sure we see that Jet Synchron almost 99.9% of the time. And some cheeky things that has happened is that I would have the Invocation in hand, get the Jet Synchron from my deck, and then I like mill out the Alistair from the top out of luck, and it's just like, oh my god, my plays are so free this turn. So really cool. Now we're playing 2 copies of Pot of Desires. Yes, I know people kind of don't like this in Synchro builds. I just don't care. I need cards in my hand. This is how that helps, I guess, my situation. So in case I really need cards in my hand, there we go, we have Pot of Desires. That -10 isn't that big of a deal when you have 2 new cards in your hand. So we're playing 2 copies of Call by the Grave. This could be up to 3. I just feel like hand traps, even though they're prevalent in the format, they just aren't as strong. Like there's always a backup play, and there's a backup play to that backup play. So this is mostly going to be used for me hitting my opponent's monsters in the graveyard as opposed to hand traps. Following that, 2 Cosmic Cyclone. You guys know I hate people who don't play any kind of backrow removal in their main deck at all. It just makes no sense to me. You can easily win more games by putting in 2 Cosmics, 2 MSTs, 2 Twin Twisters, whatever you want. It doesn't even matter. Just main something, please. Like, that's all I ask. So 2 Cosmic Cyclone, it's the best backrow removal currently in the format in my opinion. Now, there's a lot of 1-ups. Playing 1 Foolish Burial. So 2 options you can do with this is number 1, you can send the Alistair to graveyard, activate invocation, make your little invocation play, reset the Alistair, summon him normally, and then get invocation again, and then you go from there. The other option is obviously sending the Phantom Beast Lion, sending the Jet Synchron, sending anything that kind of helps your plays. So there's that. 1 for 1. Discard a monster, special summon your Jet Synchron from deck. Self-explanatory, really strong. 1 copy of Emergency Teleport. So in case you have like an Alistair in hand and then you can special summon the Ghost Ogre from your deck, you can go into your Halifabrax plays and then make a Macabre off of that. There's good options with this. 1 Monster Reborn. You are a combo deck that needs extenders, and this is an extender. It's really good. 1 Rhoda. So we only have literally 1 target, which is a Borea, but this is kind of like the second copy of a Borea. You can cut this out completely if you want, throw in the second Borea, or honestly anything. I just think this is fine. I didn't have any issues with this. I like it. Unless my opponent has Imperial Order, then I don't like it. So then we're playing 3 copies of Impermanence in terms of the trap cards. Pretty simple, more hand trap negates in a way. And the final card is a Grave Digger's Trap Hole, which should give away what we're playing in the extra deck for the, I guess the, whatchamacallit, Parallel Xyz. So you can also bump this up to 2, I think 1's fine. So that would be it for the main deck, that is 40 cards. And let's go straight into the extra deck. So, starting off, we have 1 copy of Macabre. Again, you're not primarily going to be fusing in this deck, but you want to make sure you have an extra negate if you need it, and that's Macabre over here. Following that, we have 1 copy of Purgatory, pretty easy to make. You have a couple of fire targets in this deck. Going to be your primary invoke monster to be summoning, because again, Macabre is going to be going first, this is going to be going second. 1 copy of Augustus. So you have 2 fusions, you can obviously use them for material, and then use invocation, bench those cards away, make Augustus. Really good. So now for the links. We're playing 1 copy of Almirage. Pretty self-explanatory. I'm not playing Link Kuriboh because I feel like I'm going to be normal summoning the Jet Synchron more often than not, and this is what I'm going to be making off of that Jet Synchron. So that's kind of it. Worst case scenario, normal summon Alistair, you make Almirage. Almirage will then go into your Secure Gardener, which will give you the Macabre. So that's kind of like the backup play. This could be your Link Kuriboh if you want. I just think that I wanted the safe option in case I really need the Macabre. But then again, remember, you're going to be killing off your Jet Synchron plays slightly, because you can't link with the Gardener, so it has to be pretty much only your fusion monsters. So, moving on, we're playing 1 Link Cross. Makes your tokens, makes your plays. Really good card. Kind of wish there was more to say, but that's kind of it. 1 Union Carrier. It's for the Buster Lock. And I guess worst case scenario, you can target a light monster or a dark monster to send either a Ogre or an Alistair from your deck to the graveyard to make a Macabre. That's kind of neg. I'd rather have the Buster Lock personally, but it's up to you and what your plays and what your board looks like. So 1 Halifabrax. Again, pretty much a tuner deck. You kind of need it. It's pretty strong. It's really good. Gets you a lot of plays going as well. 1 IP Masquerena. Whole purpose is that, hey, I might not always have the most optimal board, but at least I can make a unicorn to bounce something from your board that might be really important. A lot of decks this format falter from the normal summon, so if you stop the normal summon, they a lot of time won't have a secondary play going. So again, just up to you what you want to play. This extra deck is all optional. Whatever you want to take out, whatever you want to put in, all you. So 1 copy of Nightmare Unicorn, as I mentioned, for the IP plays. We're playing the Axis Code Talker in this build. No Boral Sword. We have all these different types. We have fire, earth, we have light, you have dark, you have a lot of options here. So you don't really need kind of anything else. So this will just pop your opponent's board, then you attack for like 5k and then you win the game. So for the Synchros, we should all know the combo over here. Martial Metal Madness. One copy, Martial Metal Marcher. One copy of Herald of the Arclight and one Boral Savage Dragon. We all know these 3 cards are pretty much like the most prominent 3 extra deck cards in this format. So, Revives Your Tuner, Omni Negate plus a Macrocosmos. Or I guess it's more of a Dimensional Fissure if I'm right. Either way, and then one Boral Savage for the Negate. And for the Giant Attack Stick. Beat Stick. So, and then the final card, Rafflesia. Again, if you have Parallel Exceed in your hand and you make All Mirage, you summon out the 2 parallels, one from your hand, one from your deck. Then just put this to the side in defense mode, and then in case they have a hand trap, you're always able to Gravedigger's Trap hole it by chaining Rafflesia, and then you're pretty solid. You can cut this out as well. If you're not a big fan of this play, you can cut the Gravediggers for an Imperial Order and throw in like an Abyss Dweller instead of a Rafflesia. So, side deck time. Pretty generic. I'm not gonna go too heavy into it. 3 Nibiru, stop your opponent's monsters from comboing further. 3 Dark Ruler no more, stop your opponent on your turn from activating those comboed cards. 2 copies of Twin Twister, I like to hate the back row. 3 copies of Evenly Matched, I like to hate the combo and the back row. 3 copies of There Can Only Be One, wow, surprising, right? So a lot of the time you end up on a pretty diverse field. It's gonna be Dragon, it's gonna be Plant if you have the Rafflesia, it's gonna be a Machine from Makaba. You know, you're good, right? You have like a Cybers from the IP if you have her. Like, you're really solid. You can do There Can Only Be One and it'll stop most decks in the format. So don't even worry about this card. And then the final card is our Imperial Order. I threw that a little bit too hard. So this could be Red Reboot if you want, pick your choice. I just like Imperial Order. Your spell cards aren't that necessarily important after going first, as long as you can make your fusion plays before that. And yeah, this can just shut down decks as well. It just depends on the deck. Like, this won't do much against Eldritch. This might hurt Salamangreat because a lot of time they do need those spell cards to resolve and the field card to work. But they can always bounce this back or destroy it with Foxy or something else. What else? Sky Strikers are just dead. No real point to talk about that one. It just depends on the format, and again, it's a one-off, so you either see it or you don't. Nothing too vital. So guys, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the deck profile. I just wanted to show you guys a little fun deck that's kind of neat. Again, expand upon it, look into it. Maybe you'll find a better variation, a better board, just something overall that's better than mine. But it's a proof of concept. Hopefully you guys liked it, and take care.